Hey YouTube, Berserker Nick here. I finally finished the 82 SE Quadangle. It's a Reynolds 531 frame. I figured I've had a lot of people, hey, you're gonna give this bike away. Can I have it? You know, all this stuff like thinking it's like a bike I only paid a couple $100 for or something. But so I wrote down the prices of everything and a parts list to give a breakdown of the total build cost of this bike. As you can see, it is looking pretty awesome. It's too cold outside right now, or I'd take it for a test ride. But this is going to be hung on the wall down in my man cave, down in my basement. This way it stays nice and protected, and then I'll take it out every once in a while when it's, say there's like a parade going on or like some kind of function downtown, and then I'll take it out and about, show it off a little bit along with a couple of the other guys here in town that have vintage BMX bikes. So starting out, it's an 82 SE Quadangle Reynolds 531 frame. When I got it, it was black. It was originally white, and it had been repainted black, and it was all flaking off, and it looked pretty terrible. So I repainted the bike, re-stickered it, all that good stuff. When these things do go up for sale, just the frame alone, they usually go for around $2,000 to $3,200 just for the frame. So I made sure I put in my budget $2,400, because that's what I valued the original cost of the frame at when I got it. Moving on, we have an SE landing gear 1-inch threadless fork. This is off of a PK Ripper, but I've re-stickered it for a Quadangle since this is a Quadangle. The going price of this fork is about $800. Next on the list, we have layback seat post. That was $21. You know, and definitely had to have the layback with the old school bike, of course. I went with a gold KMC half-link chain. As you can see, nice and pretty. Helps the white and the blue pop. That chain ran, it was $35 before shipping. I got the SE Bear Trap pedals, and these are a 9/16 spindle. They were $40. I spent $20 on the mid-bottom bracket, but then I had to buy cups, so I have the cups on here later. Everything's out of order on this list, but you'll figure that out. This is an SE V-Ridge crank, 3-piece, 175 millimeter, 19 millimeter spindle. This crank was $120. I had to get a 1-inch to 1 1/8 shim. That was $7. I spent $10 on seat guts. I got the SE Racing chain tensioners on here. Those ran me $23. The SE wing grips, those ran $13. Then we have the Blitz seat, the SE Blitz seat with the beer bottle opener on the back. That was $28. I had to get 1-inch headset spacers, and that was like $8. I actually have this piece together. It is 2 different gyros put together so that I could get the black chrome, you know, mix up right in here. This way that it would give a little bit of structure to the front end underneath the stem, and wouldn't just be a blur of chrome up there. And so I got about $40 total in that. I have it down here, both the gyro sets, so I'll skip over the other one. This is the SE Gnarler stem, a 1 1/8 stem. And that was $63. I have a combination of 3 different headsets put together so that this whole system would work. But I'm not going to count all those like individually. We'll just say about $25 on that. But I had to end up taking a 1-inch threadless, the cone, and I took it down and we put it on the lathe and we got all the threads out of it and made it nice and pretty, and it slid perfectly over. And then, so that allows us to have perfect tension on our bearings. And I mean, it spins beautifully. I had to sit there and mess with it to get it to balance so that they would actually stay facing forward. Let's see. Yeah, I got the SE grip donuts on there. They say SE Bike Life. I had to get those on there. I just needed that little bit up there instead of just a solid blue grip. So I got the SE dice valve caps. They actually have SE Racing right on the top. If you look at it, if you actually get close to them, they're actually like a marbled look with the blue, and then they have like a white swirl in them, which is really pretty. Let's see. I had to get a new gyro decal for it, so I could redo that. That was like $8. And then I got the Diacomp MX hinged C-post clamp, and I got that off of Pork Chop BMX, and that was only $20. And then so my star nut is a 1 1/8 star nut, a hollow bolt, so it's the Potts mod. But what I did was I took and I put it up next to the 1-inch, and then I carefully ground it with my Dremel so that I could get it to the proper size, and then it fit perfectly in there. And so that's how you take a old school 1-inch threaded system and you put a threadless fork into it. That's how you got to do it. But that allows me to run my front brake through the fork into the brake, and then so bar spins and tail whips are possible on that. I had to replace the SE head tube badge. It's really cold out, so trying to get it to stick, it was a little difficult, so I have a zip tie on there right now. When it gets warmer out, I'll take my heat gun to it and I'll roller, and I'll carefully roll it this way I don't dent it up, and I'll get that to stick really nice. These double top tube handlebars, I ordered those out of England. They ended up costing me $90 after shipping. So these are the same handlebars. I had a Diamondback when I was a teenager, and by far that was my favorite bike of all time. And when I found these bars, I had to get them because they're the same ones I had. So for all this re-stickering the whole frame, cost me about $57. To get the SE chainring, that was $60, but what I did was they don't sell the polished aluminum chainring anymore. So it was powder coated black. So I had to get all that black powder coating off of there, and then I spent the time sanding and polishing it to get it that nice polished aluminum for that sprocket. And then this is the original anodized blue SE Spider on there. So that was about $60. I think. Oh, next page. Got the SE Flatland pegs. A lot of people call them the wheelie pegs or buddy pegs. It was $57 total for all four. I've got the Odyssey Ghost pads on there in clear. This way I'm not marking up my wheels, and I'll have plenty of braking powder, and they're nice and compact so they don't like stick out and look all gaudy against the wheel. Those were $20. I've got the Diacomp 884 Bulldog brakes, front and back. And on this front brake, the adjustment screw is riveted. So what I had to do was I had to pop that out, and I had to move it from the top to the bottom. And when I put it back in, then I had to retap it to reflare it so that it would fit in the front, and then it would work as a front brake, for like a gyro system. So I have $110 in the brake calipers. Then we've got the Diacomp Tech 77 locking levers in black and blue. Nice lock on there. That cost me $40 for the set. Ooh, it stayed first try. That hasn't happened. Next on, we have the Skyway Tough 2 wheel set in white. And these are a sealed bearing wheel set. I had to get an axle down at the bike shop from Chris. And what I did was I took the original rear axle and I moved it to the front. And then I put the longer axle in the back, making it possible for me to run pegs on this bike, because the factory axles aren't long enough to run pegs. So that's a modification I had to do on that to make that work. But it was super simple, being with the sealed bearings and everything. It was just, it was probably the easiest modification done to this bike. Then we've got the Mission American to mid bottom bracket cups that work with the Odyssey bottom bracket bearings, and that was about $20. I do have an SE Quadangle pad set I paid $75 for. They're back on the shelf, but I didn't really like how it looked on the front. I think it took away from the frame, and I love the beauty of these lines and the complexity that they have, and I'd like those to be shown off, so I'm not going to run those pegs or those pads, but those pads did cost me $75. Let's see, I do have a couple other things I did. Chris down at the bike shop here in town, down at Walker's Bike Shop, he donated a Dicta 16 tooth rear freewheel to me. So that was super awesome of him. And yeah, this is my build. I actually don't have my tire cost on here, but I got Chris ordered these tires in for me down at Walker's Bike Shop. I got those. He hooked me up on a good deal, and yeah, I believe it was less than $50 for the set. So that was pretty awesome of him. I do have to, it was pretty cold when I was doing them, so I didn't really take my time to get the bead set perfect, so I do need to let some air out and adjust it a little bit after I take it inside. So, but in total, my total build cost here, where are you at? Yeah. So my total build cost was a little over $4,600 to build this bike. So as you can see, building up an 80s, old school 80s BMX bike, especially a rare frame, it's not cheap. Sourcing some of the parts was a bit of a headache, but it was also fun at the same time. So I really enjoyed building this bike. Sadly, the guy that I bought the bike from passed away the day after Christmas, and I was really hoping to be able to show this bike to him complete, but unfortunately that's not going to be able to happen. Thank you, Mike, for selling me this awesome bike, and it will be loved, you know. So I hope all of you think this bike is as awesome as I do, and I'm really looking forward to taking it for a ride when it warms up. So this is my modified 82 SE Quadangle. Oh. So keep shredding.